Hi, my name is Brian Weinert, and I'm the Director of Technology for Leiden High School District 212 in Illinois. And this tutorial is meant to demonstrate how you can use page breaks and the go-to page based on answer multiple choice questions in Google Forms, which will allow you to create forms that are both multiple pages and vary based on the answers of your responders. Let me show you an example. Here's a real quick social media survey that I put together. But the first question asks what language the responder would like to take the survey in. So if I click on English and then hit continue, I'm going to get a different set of questions than had I chose Spanish. And then again here, do you think social media should be blocked in schools? Based on how I answer, I'll go to a different page with a different set of questions. So if I answer yes and then hit continue, I'll come to this page. What is the primary reason for you feel social media should be blocked in schools? And I'll go ahead and choose an option and hit continue. And at this point, I have reached the end of the survey, and I can hit submit. But if I go back just to show you that this survey will work and change based on the answers I choose, let me choose Espanol and no, and now I've reached the end of the survey. And for just one more example, English, no, I've reached the end of the survey and I can hit submit. So based on the answers, the responder is taken to different pages with different sets of questions. Meanwhile, in the background, you have one spreadsheet with all of the questions from all of the pages that will be used to compile your data. So now let me kind of show you what the form, the edit form view looks like. So this is that exact same survey, but in the edit view. You can see that I have a title, and I have my first question, and then I have a page break, and this is page 2, and then I have a question that is on page 2, and then a page break for page 3, and then a different question, and then a page break. You get the idea. But let me go back up to this question on the first page and edit that. By choosing the multiple choice question type, you get this extra checkbox that says go to page based on answer. And by having that checked, then for each answer, you have the ability to choose which page you go to. And one thing to notice is that if you do not want to specifically go to a specific page based on an answer, you can have a default action for the entire page. So down here in the bottom right corner of this question, it says after page 1, continue to next page. But because this question is required and each question has a specific page that you get redirected to, it basically overrides this default setting for after page 1. And as I scroll down and I edit this question on page 2, you can see that if you answer yes to this question, you will go to page 4. If you answer no, you go to page 6. And again, because this is required and each question has its own redirect to its own specific page, it overrides the need for this continue to next page. At this point, I'll attempt to walk you through building this type of form from scratch. There's probably a variety of different ways that you could do that in varied different orders of operations for what you build first or second. This will just be one example, and hopefully you get the idea. So I'm going to start by going back to my Google Drive and creating a form. I'll give that form a title. And my first question was about language. What language would you like to take this survey in? And change this to multiple choice. First option was English. And I'm going to jump over to a notepad here where I have already translated everything using Google Translate. So I'm just going to copy and paste that here. And I'm going to make this a required question. At this point, I'm not going to check the box to go to page based on answer because I don't have other pages. I'm going to come back to that. But right after this question, I'm going to add an item, which is a page break. And I'm just going to leave it untitled without a description. It's going to be page 2. I'm actually going to drag that above the sample question 2 so that only this first question shows up on the first page and the sample question 2 will show up on the second page, which I'll edit in just a second. Now, you can certainly have more than one question per page if you want to. My example is only going to have one question per page. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this question. I'm going to change it to a multiple choice. So if the responder had chosen English, the first question that they would see is, do you think social media should be blocked in schools? And again, this is multiple choice. First option is yes. The second option is no, and I'm going to make this required. And say done. And now I'm going to go and add another page break. I'm not going to add a title or a description. That's going to be page 3. Page 3 is going to be a repeat of page 2, but in Spanish. So at this point, I'm going to add an item. It's going to be multiple choice. My question title. Let me jump over here and copy my translated text. And there's my first option and my second option. Again, this is going to be required. They can't get past this page without entering an answer. And then I'll say done. So now my next question, if they answer yes to the English, do you think social media should be blocked in schools question, I want them to answer yet another question. So I'm going to add a page break. That's page 4. Add an item. What is the primary reason you feel social media should be blocked in schools? And my first answer was too distracting. My second option was inappropriate material. And I'm going to give them an option to choose other. Make this required. And that's done. Now I need the Spanish version of this, so I'm going to add a page break. This will be page 5. And then I'll go ahead and add a multiple choice question. Again, jump over to my notepad where I have everything already translated. And leave other as an option. Make this required and say done. So if the responder answers no to the original question, I want them to go to the very end of the survey, and once they've answered all of the other questions, if they answered yes about the primary reason, we're done as well. So at this point, I'll add a page break. This is page 6. For this example survey, page 6 is not going to have any questions but it is the last page which will have the submit button. So all I want to do for page 6 is in the description say thank you for taking the survey. Please submit your answers. And one last time I'll jump over to my notepad and copy and paste the translation and then say done. So the last thing I have to do to complete this survey is go back through the questions and identify, based on each answer, where the responder should be directed. So for this first question, I do want to choose go to page based on answer, and if they answer English, they're going to go to page 2. I suppose I could have also left it continue to next page. If they select Espanol, that's page 3. So now on page 2, if the responder answers yes, I'm going to turn on go to page based on answer, and that's where I want to take them to page 4. If they answer no, they're going to go all the way to the end, which is page 6. On page 3, the Spanish version of the question, if they answer yes, I'm going to turn on go to page based on answer. That's going to be page 5. If they answer no, they're going to go to the end to page 6. On page 4, I'm going to turn on go to page based on answer, and regardless of the answer, they are going to go to page 6, which is the end. And I have to make sure I choose that for the other option as well. And on page 5, I could just leave this one to continue to next page, and I don't have to turn on go to page based on answer because there's nothing after this before my last page. So I'm just going to leave that one as it is and choose done. And at this point, just to show you that this works, if I click on the live view of the form at the bottom, you can now see that if I have this survey and I choose English on the first page, I go to this question. If I choose yes, I go to this page with these questions. If I choose an answer here and hit continue, I'm now at the end and I could hit submit. But once again, if I go back, if I choose English and no, I immediately go to the end of the survey. If I choose Espanol and continue and see, you can see that my form is working as designed. And based on the answers that the responder is choosing, they go to a different set of pages with a different set of questions. So I hope this tutorial helped and you found, think of some creative ways for using page breaks and the go to page based on answer multiple choice questions. Thanks for watching.